Welcome back. As mentioned in the previous lesson, I like to think of a brand as the personality of your business. Your logo is the outward representation, its outfit, while the copy and text used is more reflective of your business's thoughts and beliefs, its inner personality. In this lesson, we're going to focus on your brand's outer personality. Before we dive into logos, let's start at the very beginning, your business name. Some entrepreneurs have their dream business name picked out before they even start their business. But for the rest of us, coming up with a name can be challenging, almost debilitating. I've seen so many entrepreneurs put off making their business legit until they come up with just the right name. Or they throw their hands up and name their business after themselves. There's nothing wrong with Meg Brown Consulting or Photography by Meg Brown, but isn't that a little boring? Versus Megabug Photography or Nutmeg Media, or as my business is now named, Miss Megabug. My target market is overwhelmed with marketing and running a business, and I want to show them that both can be approachable and even fun. I also want them to know that I'm an upbeat, enthusiastic person, and that when they choose to work with me, they will be working with someone who is passionate and motivating. Therefore, the first decision I made for my brand was to name my business Miss Megabug, my nickname. It includes my actual name, Meg, plus Bug because I drive Volkswagen Bugs. When naming your business, consider what you do, think about your marketing, and reflect on how big you want your business to grow. For a deeper look at naming your business, read my Should My Business Name Be My Name or Something Else blog post. It's linked on the lesson page. And in Lesson 4, we'll cover special circumstances such as if you want to have multiple brands. Once you nail down your business name, it's time to design a logo. Now, I'm all for DIY when it comes to your marketing, but as we discussed in the intro module, logo design is something I think you should hire out. Your brand is the foundation of your marketing. Everything you design is based on it, but most importantly, it's how your business presents itself to the world. You want your logo to be custom and unique to your business, and that's why you don't want to hop on Canva and modify a cookie cutter logo. And because Canva doesn't work in vector. Trust me, at some point, someone will ask you for a vector file. If you do decide to go the DIY route, I get it. Follow this lesson closely so that if you do decide to hire a logo designer in the future, whatever they create is the next level of what you did. Utilizing a similar look in your future logo will help you build brand awareness. If you completely change the look of your business from what you originally DIY'd, people may not recognize you. It's also a lot of work to rebrand because there are so many elements that need changing. I rebranded in October 2023, and it took me months to update my website, social media branding, email newsletter, etc. If you decide to hire a logo designer from the get-go, please still continue with this lesson. It will allow you to give better direction to your designer and have a deeper understanding of their design decisions. Okay, let's get to it. A logo is a symbol made up of text and graphic that represents a business. But, like my logo, you don't need a graphic in your logo, just make sure the text stands well on its own. On my very first official logo, I had a graphic. It's called a logo mark. The text in your logo is the logo type. When it comes to your logo mark, you want it to be simple and relevant to your brand. Obviously, I chose a camera for my Megabug Photography logo. But to adhere to my brand, I selected a vintage camera. Some brands can be identified by their logo mark alone, like the swoosh for Nike and mermaid for Starbucks. Your brand may not be that large, but you do want your logo mark to be able to stand alone. When creating your own logo or working with a designer, make sure they send you files of just your logo mark so you can use it as your website's favicon or profile picture on social media. My new branding includes a logo mark with a set of patterns that I use in my social media post graphics, print marketing materials, and on my website. Though the Bug logo mark isn't part of my main logo, it's still a part of my brand. Your logo doesn't need to contain all of your brand elements, such as fonts, colors, and even logo mark. Moving on to typography used in your logo type, think about your target audience. When I selected my fonts, I wanted it to attract women by having a feminine feel, which is why I went with a script font for my name. It's important to note that a script font is best to use on the largest type element of your logo, as scripts can be difficult to read when small. It's why I went for a more legible sans serif font on my tagline. This font is what I use for body text of my website and print marketing materials. However, your brand may have a third font that serves this purpose if your main and sub fonts are too quirky. It's super important that you select a font that's legible for body text because it's small in comparison to your headings and subheadings. This is what I did with my previous logo and for logos I've designed for clients. Again, it's okay to not have all of your brand elements be present in the logo. The main font, the one my business name was written in, was used as the main headers on my website, and the subfont, the font my description line was written in, was used as my secondary headers. Then I had a third font not included in my logo that I used for body text on my website, print marketing materials, and social media graphics. Let's cover what I mean by font types, but first, what we refer to as font is actually a typeface. A font is a variation of that typeface, like size, weight, and italics. I've included a resource that describes this in more detail back on the main course page. The majority of the world refers to typefaces as fonts, but I wanted to describe what a typeface is because you may run into that term when working with designers and printers. Typefaces are broken down into 4 categories: serif, sans serif, script, and display. Serif typefaces are the oldest style and have a decorative flourish on the end of some strokes that make up letters and symbols in the typeface. Opt for a serif typeface if you want your brand to have a traditional or professional feel. A common serif typeface is Times New Roman. Sans serif typefaces do not have these flourishes. A common sans serif font is Arial. Opt for sans serif if your brand is modern, minimal, or masculine. A script typeface is meant to mimic cursive handwriting and is more ornate. Opt for a script font if your brand is elegant or feminine. A display or decorative typeface is the largest category and includes all of the misfit fonts. Because there's such a variety in display fonts, it's difficult to describe them. Opt for a display font if your brand is unique and quirky. As a rule of thumb, it's best to use serif, script, and display typeface in major headings as they can be difficult to read when small. Sans serif typefaces are best for smaller text, like body text. For a more thorough description of typeface types, along with some typeface psychology, check out the resources linked on the lesson page. Next, let's add some color. Selecting your brand colors is more than just choosing your favorite colors. In fact, a study published by Management Decision discovered that 90% of the information that forms a consumer's decision about your brand is influenced by color. 90%. Here's a quick guide to color psychology. Additional resources are linked on the lesson page. Red exudes excitement, action, and power. Think Coca-Cola. And this is also why fast food restaurants have red roofs. Red attracts the eye. Same as for stop signs. Orange exudes playfulness, creativity, and enthusiasm, such as the Nickelodeon logo. Yellow obviously represents happiness, optimism, and joy. Snapchat opted for this color. Green represents nature, growth, stability, i.e. Land Rover. Whereas blue, calm, peacefulness, trust, such as Charles Schwab. Purple exudes royalty, luxury, and romance, i.e. Cadbury. My bugs are blue and green and served as the foundation for my brand colors. Because my brand, Miss Megabug, is named after me and my VW bugs, it made sense for my branding to reflect their colors. It also worked out that these colors elicit calm, trust, growth, and stability. The shade of your colors also matters. Mine are bright pastel-y because I want my brand to be fun and light. Again, you don't need to include all of your brand colors in your logo design. My logo utilizes one blue, but my brand also encompasses another blue, green, and coral. I use these for accent colors on my website, in my social media graphics, and print marketing materials, etc. It's also helpful to include a light shade like white or cream and a dark shade like gray or black that can be used as background and text colors. I also make sure that the photography, whether my own brand photos or stock photos, reflects this palette. Here's what I mean. The photographs associated with my brand are bright and utilize my base color palette. They may deviate some, but when someone sees a photograph on Instagram or an ad, they should be able to identify it as a Miss Megabug image. Every photo shoot I plan includes these colors, whether in the location, what I'm wearing, or the props I use. Check out the How to Plan an Effective Brand Photo Shoot blog post linked back on the Module 3 page for tips. All brands should have a brand guide that outlines your fonts and colors. It keeps all of your color hex codes and font names in one place for easy reference. When hiring a graphic designer to create print or digital marketing materials or a website designer, share your brand guide with them so they can adhere to it. If your logo designer didn't send you one, I have a Canva brand guide template linked back on the lesson page. It also includes a tutorial on how to update the brand guide and find your colors and fonts. Also on the lesson page is a guide on which files you should receive/ask for when hiring a graphic designer to design your logo, or files you should create yourself if you choose to design your own logo. And in my Debug Your Business membership, there's an in-depth formula on how to hire a logo designer, including what to ask, what terms and pricing to expect, and more. As a student of Self-Employed School, use the coupon code linked on the main course page to receive your first year free. It's essential that your branding is consistent. Once you have your brand established, it's super easy to design a graphic or a website as you already know what your fonts and colors are. The key to creating a brand is building recognizability. If you saw an ad for ice cream, for example, you'd know if it was from Ben & Jerry's or Haagen-Dazs without having to see the company name. That's it for the brand's outer personality. In the next lesson, we're looking into the brand's inner personality.